Claire had always seen herself as sensitive, but never weak. Before she met Mark, her life was full. She taught at an art school, lived alone, traveled often, and loved long talks with friends in cozy cafes. Her world was filled with color, rhythm, and voices. She believed she knew exactly who she was. She wasn't afraid to talk about her feelings, to cry, or to ask for support. To her, that was maturity, being open instead of silent. That's what Mark claimed to love about her. He said, "You're so real. I feel calm with you. You're not like the others." He said this during those first few weeks, when they walked along the riverside late into the night, coffee in hand. He admired the way she debated movies, how she laughed loudly when telling stories about her students. One evening, when she read him a passage from her favorite book, he said, "You know how to feel. That's rare." But slowly, "not like the others" began to mean not right. The first red flag came during a fight in the kitchen. She was making dinner, and he came home later than usual without saying a word. When she asked why, he snapped, "Are you starting again? Relax. It's just work. Don't blow it out of proportion." She couldn't hold back tears, but he didn't comfort her. He just stared and said, "There you go again, being dramatic. Normal people don't cry over this stuff." She went quiet, felt ashamed. Maybe she was overreacting? Then came the silent treatments. If she spoke up, he vanished, sometimes for a day. Then he'd return with, "I just don't want to be around when you start getting emotional." Once, she sent him a voice message explaining she felt anxious. He didn't reply. That evening, he came home and smirked. "You sound like a patient. Seriously, maybe you should get help." She began to tiptoe, hide her irritation, smile through tension. She stopped sharing. He started calling her overloaded, hysterical. At a dinner with his friends, she once joked that he forgot important dates. That night, he whispered, "If you ever embarrass me like that again, you'll see what real coldness feels like." On the way home, he didn't say a word. Slept on the couch for 2 nights. When she tried to talk, he said, "There's nothing to say to someone who can't behave." He never yelled, never hit, but every spark in her, he dismissed. Every reaction, he twisted. Every time she said, "This hurts," he made it her fault. "You always twist things. That's not how it happened. You're imagining it." Once, when she said she felt depressed, he replied, "You've always been like this. I just didn't notice how unstable you were." 6 months in, she barely spoke. Sometimes she made dinner in silence, the drip of the faucet the only sound. The TV murmured somewhere in the background, but her thoughts were blank. She'd find herself staring out the window, not noticing the weather. Life became mechanical. He'd come home, and the only sounds were clinking dishes and footsteps. They rarely spoke. He called it peace. She called it disappearing. He was pleased. "You've calmed down." "I see progress." But she had just stopped feeling. No reactions, no words, just fatigue and numbness. One day she looked in the mirror. Her face was the same, maybe older, maybe duller. But the worst part? She didn't recognize herself. When did I last laugh? Really laugh? She thought. When did I speak without calculating his response? When did I feel anything but guilt or pressure? She stared at her reflection like a stranger, and deep inside, a quiet voice said, "If you stay, soon there won't be anything left of you." And so, for the first time in a long time, she said nothing. She just left. No explanations, no screaming, no pleading to be understood. He called. He messaged, "You're really throwing everything away?" She didn't answer, because she realized he never listened. He only sculpted. And finally, she stopped being clay.